Cimoooooooo! What's going on, guys? It's Cimo. So today I'm bringing to you the winners and losers of the April 2020 Master Rule 5 ban list. This is a series I always like to do once we get a ban list, once the dust has settled. We've had some time to kind of step back and look at how the format is going to be shaping up for the next couple months. And, you know, it's interesting because, you know, while a lot of things have changed, a lot of things have also stayed the same, but I know a lot of you guys like this series, and that's why I'm bringing it to you today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So I want to start off with the winners as always. So first winner we have is Shaddoll Invoked, or really for that matter, any Invoked variant. I cannot believe this deck was completely untouched from the most recent ban list. They didn't touch anything in the Shaddoll side of the deck. They didn't touch any of the Invoked cards. At the very least, I thought this deck was going to receive a consistency hit of some kind, but nope. The deck is going to still be and remain at full power, and this is going to terrorize the format. Keep in mind, this was probably one of, if not the best deck of the previous format once we got the Shaddoll structure deck legal. So why is this deck still allowed to be at full power? Granted, we're in a bit of a weird situation, right? We don't have a lot of organized play going on for the next several months, so maybe by the time we get the next ban list, maybe they'll address some of the cards in this deck, but I'm just shocked that both sides of this deck came out completely unscathed. Now the next winner we have is Dragon Link, and yeah, while Destrudo was hit, I don't think that really hinders this deck too much. Destrudo was probably one of the most cuttable cards in the Dragon Link strategy as a whole, so now you can just replace it with like a myriad of other cards that are effectively just going to act as a replacement for it. But Dragon Link is still at full power. LP did not get banned. Remember, LP was banned on the most recent OCG list that we saw last week. I have a video there so you guys can check that out. So they don't have LP anymore, but we still do. Now, part of me kind of likes this because it's cool that these Rocket Dragon Link and like 3-axis Dragon Link decks still have a chance to flourish in the new format, especially under Master Rule 5. But LP is still a very powerful card, and these Rocket Dragon Link decks, or Dragon Link decks in general, are very powerful and capable of establishing some incredibly destructive boards. So we'll just have to see in the future if we regret this choice, but it came out a winner for sure, and I think a lot of people are definitely happy about that. And the winners just keep coming, because the next deck is Salamangreat, another deck that did not suffer a hit from the ban list. Now, to be fair, out of all the decks we've already discussed, I think Salamangreat's probably like the fairest of the best decks, and did it really need another hit? I don't particularly think so. It'd be kind of hard to justify hitting anything else for the deck at this point. I mean, what would you really hit? Would you hit like Lady Debug back down to like 1? Would you like ban Circle? Like, if you want to really just kill the deck, just like ban Gazelle at that point. But like, I think the deck, even though it is one of the best decks of the previous format and probably will be one of the best decks of the new format, I still think that's okay. Salamangreat is still a very powerful deck for what it's worth, but again, it doesn't do anything inherently unfair, at least in my opinion. So I think it's okay for Salamangreat to exist in this climate, so I'm actually pretty okay with this. And I think collectively, a majority of the players would agree that Salamangreat is in a relatively good place for the time being. And then we have Dinosaur. Now, this is another deck that a lot of people are thinking might suffer a hit. I'm looking at you, Oviraptor, but in the OCG, they have 1 Oviraptor and I believe 2 Fossil Dig. So people are thinking, oh, you know, Dinosaurs have been doing pretty okay at the moment, even though I wouldn't speak, people probably wouldn't say it's like, you know, the top deck, but it's definitely up there for sure. And the deck is very explosive. And again, with cards like Oviraptor being like 1 card Needle Fiber and things like that, you know, there is an argument to be made to hit a card like that specifically, but Dino players can rejoice that they're still going to be able to play their favorite deck for another format. Now, one deck that got a huge boost from this new ban list is Orcas, because Dragon Buster Destruction Sword did not get banned. And this is huge. Just because the OCG didn't ban it doesn't mean we shouldn't, because this card is very degenerate and just the embodiment of no fun allowed. What's better than Scythe for one of your opponent's turns? Well, you can just Scythe lock them for eternity, right? And the fact that Orcas has Dingirsu in the deck as well means that you can protect your Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, so that's going to be even more difficult for your opponent to deal with it. Orcas is just the beginning, right? Any deck that plays darks or dragons in it can take advantage of the destruction sword. So I mean, like, Dragon Link is another deck that can play it as long as you make space for the Union Carrier to just equip it from your deck. So I don't think Orcas is going to be the only deck taking advantage of this, and this might be one of the things that, even though this is a winner, we might be the losers on this one. Pendulum's another deck that didn't suffer any hits, and I think that's pretty fair considering that deck has suffered enough recently. Altergeist is looking fine, Guru Control's looking fine. Other decks like Gren Maju, I think Gren Maju actually gets like this indirect boost from Necroface going to 3. As odd as that sounds, I know, but you know, any card that allows you to banish so many cards from the top of players' decks and to help boost those Gren Majus to even greater heights, I mean, who knows, right? There might be some sort of Necroface Gren Maju deck that spawns as a result from this, and yeah, the deck lost, you know, cards like the Dangers, but I don't really think they were playing the smaller Dangers anyway. They were primarily playing Bigfoot and Thunderbird just so they have the big Dangers to go into their rank 8 plays. So even though those Dangers got hit, I actually don't think those decks suffered too much from that. Sky Striker, like, technically is a winner here because it got a second Widow Anchor back, and like Sky Striker was already seeing like a very low amount of success at like the local and regional level, making like top 8s here and there. But like, is a second Widow Anchor gonna change things? Maybe. I mean, Kagari's at 3, so it's like you effectively have like 6 Widow Anchors, kind of. Maybe like 5 might be more like it. So, you know, Engage is still banned, so that deck has a huge hit to consistency, but a second Widow Anchor, you know, Widow Anchor's a pretty good card, so I wouldn't be surprised if people want to still mess around with Sky Striker, even to a minor degree. Now, Zodiac is a big winner here as well, because Dryden's legal again. I never thought I'd see the day, and yeah, it was kind of telegraphed from the OCG because it was in banned there too, but that doesn't take away from the fact that people love Zodiac, and people are going to try to find ways to either splash Zodiac Dryden into their deck again like they did in the old days, or they're just going to play the new pure version that takes advantage of that Link monster. I think it's like Infinitrack, like Mega Clops, that's like a 4K body that's like immune to all monster effects. And then yeah, I mean, that seems like a pretty like plausible win condition if you're in like a monster effect heavy format. People love Zoo, and people are going to find ways to incorporate these cards into their decks. I think the saving grace, if anything here, is that Barrage is at 1, because if that card would have stayed at 3, oh man, people would have been splashing Zoo in everything. And the last winner I have on my list is Water. Yeah, Water, because Deep Sea Diva is back at 3. This really isn't too big of a shock. We have the new set coming out, Eternity Code, and there's Deep Sea Diva support in the set, so it makes sense that they're going to unban this card just to help promote the new cards. However, just when you're looking at Mermail Atlantean decks, this is a really huge boon, right? Having another playstarter to help get you into your Neptibus and just start going into full combo. Like, Deep Sea Diva is insane. It's one of the greatest cards from back in the day, and a lot of people who played back then probably never thought this card would come back to 3, so I think that's exciting for some older players. And now it's time for what you've all been waiting for, the losers of the April 2020 ban list. Oh boy, let's get into this. So first up, we have Lunalight. Wow, I was not expecting Lunalight Tiger to get banned. I think I, for one, was thinking that Lunalight Tiger would get limited to at least make the deck like somewhat playable, but no, Konami just decided to completely axe the deck and crucify Tiger, and I think a lot of people are happy about that. We've seen how powerful of a deck Lunalight has become over the years, and it's been like a top 5 deck for a while now. It's been enabled in doing some degenerate things just because of the lack of hard once per turn effects, so people can't really act surprised that this happened, but I'm just still shocked that it did, and I know a lot of people are pretty upset about that, so sorry to all you Lunalight players out there. I know some people are still going to try to make the deck work, and I don't know if there's any playability still there whatsoever. Maybe you have to pivot back to the pure version, but nonetheless, it's still the first loser on this list. But following behind Lunalight, we have Spiral. Oh my god, Master Plan is banned! Can you guys believe? I never thought in a million years they were gonna ban Master Plan, because not only does this hit Spiral, but like, it makes it so that playing Magician Souls in Spiral is like so much worse. Like, that was like the god combo, right? Like, if you have Magician Souls and Master Plan in deck, you just send it, you get to spec, like, it just did so much for the strategy. strategy, but now if you still want to play Spiral with Magician Souls, you have to play the bricky Apprentice Illusion Magician, and that is just another brick on top of like the 10 other cards that deck already has to play to make it more inconsistent. But on the plus side, you have 3 drone, right? So like that's not too bad, but Master Plan just did so much for the deck. It was the centerpiece of all the deck's main combos because it was usually what you were grabbing off of Spiral Double Helix as well to help get you to your searches for your sleeper off of Resort, and just to pretty much even set up just the most basic of OTKs. I don't know if Spiral's gonna come back from this. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a Go Second Spiral variant, just playing as many Go Second cards as possible, because with cards like Agent and Tough and things like that, the deck can still be very offensive and meaty, so we'll just have to see. But man, Master Plan is a huge blow. Now the next gravestone we need to chisel out is for Heroes. Oh man, Destiny Hero Malicious to 2. Now is this the end-all be-all for Heroes? Probably not. I mean, there are replacements for a third Malicious, but Malicious just being back at 2, I swear this card has probably zigzagged on the Forbidden and Limited list more than like any card in existence, but it hurts, right? I mean, not being able to access that third copy of Malicious means you need an extra extender now if you want to continue off with your main combos. And not only does it stop hero decks, but it stops any like Dark Warrior variants as well. And this is kind of one of those cards that seems like can get out of hand at times, and who knows, maybe by June it'll go back to 3, but for the time being, rip all you hero players out there. Now another group of losers we have are the Synchro players, and yeah, TG Hyper Librarian and Trishula going to 1, it's not the end of the world. I mean, they can still play those cards, but we never got to see any of the degenerate stuff unfold, right? We never got to see people play multiple Hyper Librarians and draw their whole deck, which that probably should never be allowed anyway. We didn't get to experience Trishula hand looping people into oblivion and finishing off the rest of their hand with other cards like Omega and different things like that, which also should probably not be allowed, but we never got to see it unfold, right? Because those decks are still inherently just gonna lose to almost every single piece of disruption in the game. So I kind of wish we just had this 2-month period where people just got to have fun with it, kind of learn by trial by fire that wasn't going to work out as well as they might have hoped, but at least give people the option, right? I think that was kind of what I was missing here. And the biggest, #1, undeniable, undisputed loser, or losers rather, from the April 2020 ban list are ABC and Paleozoic. Oh my god, so many people were hyped to play ABC and Paleozoic in Master Rule 5 to summon multiple Toads or multiple Dragon Busters, and we never got the chance to do it. Now, to be fair, maybe that's for the better health of the game. We'll never know, but wouldn't it have been cool just to see for maybe a couple months what would have happened if people were just going Dragon Buster Turbo playing ABC or Toad Turbo playing Paleozoic? I don't actually think by 2020 standards those decks are unfair, and if they were, that's fine. We're all quarantined at home anyway, so let people figure that out for 2 months, and then once competitive play starts spinning back up again, then hit those cards to 1, but at least let us just have some fun with it. So many people were hyped, and I think that's probably the biggest buzzkill of all, but without a doubt, ABC and Paleozoic, the biggest losers of the April 2020 ban list. So guys, that's gonna wrap up the video. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about your biggest winners and losers of the April 2020 ban list. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Be sure to like the video as always. Subscribe to the channel for more amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. And if you found this video helpful, consider supporting me on Patreon or becoming a YouTube channel member. Just by showing your support in any way that you can, you're investing in my ability to continue bringing you amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. So thanks so much again, and we'll see you next time.